Hi guys, and welcome to this week's tutorial. So for this week I decided to do a JLO inspired makeup look. So it's one of the makeup looks that she wore to the Toronto International Film Festival, and she looked so beautiful. She wore a beautiful yellow gown and her makeup was just really glowing and beautiful. I thought it was a wonderful look to do. So let's get into it. So to start the look, I'm going to be using my L'Oreal Infallible Pomade Concealer just to even out the skin on my lids. So the palette that I'll be using for this look is one from Revolution Makeup, and it's part of their I Heart Revolution collection. So this is the palette. It's called Peanut Butter Cup, and I'll show you the colors that are inside. So these are the colors. So I'm going to be using this color here, but I will start with this color in the top here, and that shade is called Peanut Butter. So I'm just going to use that all over the lid. So the next shade in the palette I'm going to be using is called Smooth. So that's this shade right here in the palette, and it's just a really nice matte, kind of an orangey salmon color. So the next shade in the palette I'll be using is called Milk Chocolate. So Milk Chocolate is this shade right here, and it's just a really nice light brown, light to medium brown shade, and I'll use that in the crease. So now using the same shade Smooth, so this shade right here in the palette, I'm just going to use that on the bottom lash line all the way into the corner. So the next shade I'm going to use is called Chunk. So that's this shade right here, and that's just a really nice kind of salmony shade again, and I'm just going to use that in the center because it's slightly lighter. So now the next shade I'm going to use is called Pieces. So that is the shade in the bottom of the palette right here in the corner. And that's just a really nice kind of a shimmery shade, and I'm going to use that all over the lid and into the brow bone here. So now also using that shade just on the lower lash line, just to the middle of the eye. So now for the inner corners, I'm going to use a shade called Caramel, and it's just a really nice gold shade. So it's the shade here in the palette, and I'm just going to use that on the inner corners and slightly on the bottom half of the lash line as well. So now lastly, just to bring some definition to the eye, I'm going to use a shade called Cup. So that is the shade here in the palette, and that's just a really nice kind of black shade. I'm just going to use that with a flat brush on the top of my lash line. So now moving on to mascara, I'm going to be using this mascara here from L'Oreal. So this is their Paradise Waterproof Mascara. So now to add some more glam to this look, I'm just going to add some false lashes off camera. So now that I have my lashes on, I'm just going to apply some more mascara. So now moving on to the base, I'm going to be using this Wake Me Up foundation from Rimmel, and I'm just going to use that all over my face. So next, moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using this L'Oreal Paris concealer in True Match, and my shade is Golden Beige. So now moving on to powder, I'm just going to be using this Rimmel Insta Matte powder just to powder my nose. So now moving on to contouring, and I'm going to be using this Rimmel Insta Contour stick. And the shade I have is Deep, and I'm going to be using the contouring side of this stick, and I'm just going to contour my face. So now for bronzer, I'm going to be using this I Heart Revolution bronzer, and this is just a really nice bronze shade to bronze all over your face. So now, just to add a bit of warmth to my cheeks, I'm going to be using another I Heart Revolution bronzing heart, and this one is called Triple Baked Bronzer Love Hot Summer. So this one is just a nice kind of more of a peachy orangey shade, and I'm going to use that on my cheeks. So now moving on to highlighter, I'm going to use the Insta Rimmel Contour stick again, and I'm going to be using the highlighting side of the stick just to highlight my face. So for brows, I'm going to be using two products. So I'm going to be using a Revolution Makeup Brow Pencil in the shade Light Brown. And then I'm going to be using this e.l.f. brow gel called Wow Brow. And the shade I have is Taupe. So now moving on to lips, I'm going to be using two products. I'm going to be using this lipstick here from MAC, and the shade I have is called Spirit, and this one is a satin finish. Then to top off my lips, I'm going to be using this Gloss Bomb by Fenty Beauty, and the shade I have is called Fenty Glow. So there you go, this is my finished JLO inspired makeup look. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. I will see you next time.